problem worse.
On immigration detention centers, what's the status with Camp Landing?
So I had mentioned this the other day when I was in Northeast Florida. We sent out the request, the RFP for Blanding. I think that there are a number of people that submitted bids. What I've told the DEM is I'm willing to do Blanding once Alligator Alcatraz is filled. And so the DHS has started moving in a significant number of people. I think you're going to, and they're starting to deport people from there too. Remember, this is not the Ritz-Carlton, okay? We're not doing this just to let people have food and shelter, although they do get that. But that's not, and all the minimum standards are upheld. But the reality is it's there to be a quick processing center so that they can, we have a runway right there, they can just be flown back to their home country. So that is the purpose of why we're doing it. And as that fills, once there's a demand, then we would be able to go for Camp Blanding. But what I don't want to do is set up Blanding if, you know, one is 60% full and then the other's 40%. I'd rather just channel everyone to Alligator since it's easier. You can add from whatever, you know, you need. But we definitely think that you can do easily 3,000 to 4,000 at Alligator Alcatraz. We have not yet received that many illegal aliens yet there, but it has grown pretty quickly. And if you think about it, we submitted our proposals, just kind of a broad policy about what we can do with the Florida Division of Emergency Management in the spring. We worked with DHS, and then finally they said, yep, if you do that, you know, that will be eligible for reimbursement. And so within a week, we had this facility set up. And I know other states are now saying they want to get in the ball game. It'll be interesting to see, you know, how quickly these other states are able to move. I think Florida's really set the standard, not only for executing missions, but doing it swiftly and doing it in ways that kind of defy people's expectations about what government can do. You think about with the Iran conflict in Israel, we had students over there. We had a lot of Floridians over there. All of a sudden, they shut down Ben Gurion Airport. You got all these rockets raining down. We turned the switch, and we executed rescue missions, and we brought back, I think we got like 1,500 people out of Israel on boat. We fly people to Florida. We did all this stuff in record time, and we were the only state in the game on that. Now, granted, you know, I'm not saying that every state has the same connections that Florida does in terms of our population and people that go over there or study over there. So I'm not saying every state should have done exactly what we did, but we were the ones in the game, and we were able to bring a lot of people back home to safety. So that's just what we do. Blanding can be turned on very quickly. I know they'll award the bids once we make that decision, but I don't want to set up a new infrastructure until, and look, this may happen in a matter of a week or two, right? I mean, it's possible. We also have different ways we can do Blanding. We can use existing infrastructure there, which would not give us as big of a footprint, so we would end up having, you know, some illegals, but we wouldn't be able to house like 2,000 or 3,000 if the existing footprint. If we build out from there with the temporary structures, that's when you can get to 2,000 or 3,000. So we'll make those decisions based on the facts on the ground. But I told these guys, even though we're getting reimbursed for it, I was like, I don't want to be creating some structure that can hold 2,000 illegal aliens, and then we end up having like 150 there after a week. And I don't think that's I don't think that's the trend. I do think DHS is doing a good job of sending. And here's the thing. These are basically like military-age males that are going to Alligator Alcatraz. I mean, like, you know, these are folks, and a lot of them have criminal records. But that's what's happening here, and I think it's been very effective. Now, I would note kind of like, you know, the Democratic Party in this state, such that it still exists in this state, they really, I mean, honestly, like, if I had to say, like, what I, as a Republican governor, would want you guys to focus on that would benefit us, I would tell them, try to kick up a storm about Alligator Alcatraz. Because first of all, what they're doing is incredible, and people that have been there and seen it's a professionally run operation. But these are people that are illegally in the country. Many of them do have criminal records. Have you ever seen these Democrats in Florida fight this hard for you as an American citizen? I haven't seen that. In fact, they've opposed almost everything that we've done over these many years. And yet they're fighting tooth and nail to not have illegal aliens deported to their home country. Now, can you imagine, as an American, if you tried to illegally enter France or Japan or China? I mean, you'd be sent back. It wouldn't even be a question that would happen. You want to try to work illegally in some of those countries? No way. They would not let you. So this is just basic upholding the rule of law. I do think it'll be beneficial if you're able to have an increased pace of removals. You're going to end up with less stress on schools, less stress on hospitals, less stress on the criminal justice system. I think higher wages for American workers, particularly in some of the industries that you constantly hear. So this is something that can be very beneficial for Floridians, and yet they want to basically put the thumb on the scale for folks here illegally to just stay in the state of Florida and stay here indefinitely. That's what they want. So I don't understand why they think this is something that is going to be effective. There's so many things that Floridians care about. Why don't you fight for Florida citizens? Why are you fighting for foreign nationals that came into the country illegally? It just doesn't make sense to me. One thing I do want to mention, we were at out in Hendry County yesterday. So this is further south than the Tampa Bay area. But we launched major Everglades restoration, and it's the largest restoration in all of America, maybe in the world. And there's a lot of different components to it. But one of the things that we've had to do is construct reservoirs on each side of Lake Okeechobee. I mean, Army Corps, when that lake goes, they spew the water out into the rivers. It creates problems. And so we've worked with the Corps to mitigate that, but ultimately they can make those decisions. So we wanted to have the existing infrastructure where you could store water, clean it, and everyone lives happily ever after. So yesterday, we opened the C-43 reservoir, which is on the east side of Lake Okeechobee. And that is going to hold, they said, we did the ribbon cutting, and South Florida Water Management District said you could fit almost every Florida university inside the footprint of this reservoir. It's just a massive reservoir. So that's going to be something that's going to be very good. And basically what we've tried to do is just restore the natural hydrology to the state of Florida, which means water moving further south through the Everglades into Florida Bay. And there's just a lot that goes into that. So that was a huge achievement. We also did the C-44, and the federal government has had to work with us. We got to get them in a better spot. But we did the C-44, which is on the east side of Lake Okeechobee. Now we have this massive reservoir south of Lake Okeechobee, and we did our part in that ahead of schedule. The feds, Army Corps, are kind of doing what they're doing. But, working with the president, we have I think an agreement that we're likely to arrive at where we're going to get delegated the federal responsibility for a lot of those projects. And so we'll be able to get some of those done. And so under Biden, this really slid to where this wasn't going to be done till the middle of next decade. And we want it done this decade. So I think now that's going to compress the timeline. So stay tuned on that. But we've been working really, really hard. And the president himself said, we want to empower Florida, and even the Army Corps has acknowledged, look, Florida does things quick. We get it, and we want to utilize you. So if we're able to get that agreement and then really work going forward, that will be one of the biggest achievements that any state government has ever had, because that restoration was floundering when I became governor. We were way behind on what we needed to do, and we've really put a lot of emphasis and a lot of resources into doing something that'll have impacts in Florida for decades and decades.